This presentation is all about the standards and expectations that we have at Notre Dame High School for all of our students. Those standards and expectations really start with our mission. You can see here our mission statement written in more day-to-day words by some of our students. And our mission, as you can see, is about using the teaching of Jesus in all that we do, building a caring community that values everyone, helping everyone in the community to achieve their potential, and developing links between schools, parishes, home, and the wider community. And when we say that's our mission, we really do mean it is our mission. It is everyone's mission, students as well as staff. We can only live up to it if everybody does their bit. No one can do your bit for you. You are the only person that can make the best of the education that you get, that can try your hardest even when you find things difficult. Nobody can do that for you. You're the only one who can treat other people well. And when you treat other people well, you help to make school a happy place. If everybody works as hard as they can, if everybody treats each other well, school is a happy place where people can fulfill their potential and make a difference to our school and the world beyond. If you are not treating other people well, you might be making the school an unhappy place for that person. If you're not doing your best, you might not be living up to your potential. So only you can do your bit. And we'll know that we're living up to that mission if we can see in our school these hallmarks. The hallmarks of Notre Dame were written by the Sisters of Notre Dame, and you will find them in schools across the world. So when you are living up to our mission, when you are contributing to these hallmarks in Notre Dame Sheffield, you're actually part of something much, much bigger. You know that you're in a Notre Dame school when you can see that people are proclaiming by their lives, even more than by their words, by their actions more than their words, that God is good. You know that you're in a Notre Dame school when people are honouring the dignity and sacredness of each person. You know that you're in a Notre Dame school when we are being educated and acting for justice and peace in the world. You know that you're in a Notre Dame school when we are committing ourselves to community service. You know you're in a Notre Dame school when we are embracing diversity as a real gift. You know that you're in a Notre Dame school when we are creating community with each other and with people beyond our school. And you know that you're in a Notre Dame school community when we have holistic learning, which is about the whole person. And we do that together in communities, and we educate in a way that helps us in the whole of our life. Those are the ways that you know that you're part of a Notre Dame school. That's what you will get if we all live up to our mission. And to do that is everybody's job. So what does that mean day to day? Well, first of all, it means that we need to have great punctuality and attendance. You need to be here every day, and you need to be here on time. We don't authorise holidays during term time. And the reason for that is we cannot be getting the most out of the Notre Dame community, out of a Notre Dame education, and we can't be playing our part in that if we're not here. So we need to be punctual, and we need to be at school every day. We need to behave well. That's not just about not doing bad things, but it's actually about doing positively good things. It's about showing respect for other people. We know that's what you do in your primary schools, and we expect you just to continue that when you come up to Notre Dame. It's one of the things that I love about working at Notre Dame School, how well students respect one another, how they look out for one another, and how they show respect for their peers, for their teachers, and not just for their friends and the people they get on with, but people who are different to them and people who maybe they don't get on with so well. How they show respect and care through acts of charity and doing work for others outside of school. It's something that I'm very, very proud of in our school, and our school has a great reputation for that very, very reason. Does that mean that children are perfect in school? Of course they aren't. Neither are the adults. We all make mistakes from time to time. But again, it's not about being perfect. It's about that when we make a mistake, when we get it wrong, when we don't show respect for somebody else, we say sorry and we try to put it right. And that's what our students and our staff do. We expect that people work hard. We expect that you give your very, very best in every activity that you do, whether that's in lessons or whether it's homework. All the activities that teachers set for you in class and out of class are designed to help you to learn. Some of them you'll find easy. You'll find that you get on really well with. Others you'll find difficult. But all we ask of you is that you give your very best, that you don't give up, that you don't get distracted and go off task. Do your very best. Ask your teachers when you find it difficult, when you need help, and encourage and help one another to work as hard as you can while you're in school. And connected to that, we ask you to participate fully in lessons and in other parts of school life. What we mean by that is not being passive and just sitting there and expecting school to happen to you, but playing your part in lessons, asking questions, answering questions, helping people who might be stuck, really throwing yourself into what's going on. And likewise in extracurricular activity, in other things that go on in school, in the way that you make school a good place for your friends and for others. We just ask that you participate. By doing that, you get the most out of school, but also by doing that, you help to make school a great place for other people. As staff, we want to encourage students and to recognise that great behaviour, the great way that they live up to those expectations so much of the time and in so many different ways. And we do that in a few ways. First of all, we have house points. So at Notre Dame, we have 4 houses. They are St. Julie, Compiègne, Cuvillé and Picardy, all named to do with things to do with St. Julie's life, St. Julie, the foundress of Notre Dame. And your child will be in one of those houses all the way through from year 7 to year 11. And when they do something that's great in a lesson, a particularly good piece of work, or they particularly help somebody, they're particularly good in their behaviour, their teacher might recognise that by logging a positive. Now that will appear on ePortal, you'll be able to see that, but it will also contribute towards house points for their house. So not only are they being recognised themselves for something good that they've done, they're also contributing to the success of their house team. And at the end of the year we have house trophies through Sports Day and through all the other things that have been going on that recognise how well a house has done, and one house will be the champion house at the end of the year. We also have end of year rewards assemblies and rewards assemblies all the way through the year when we have a chance to recognise the brilliant things that the children are doing. We send certificates and letters home, particularly, for example, at monitoring times when teachers have given an approach to learning to each of the students, and sometimes have also given a progress grade, how they're getting on in their academic studies. And we'll give certificates to recognise students who are meeting or exceeding expectations in their approach to learning. But for other reasons as well during the course of the year. Sometimes a teacher might send home a departmental postcard because they're just particularly impressed with something that your child has done and they want you to know about that as a parent. And at monitoring times, heads of year will often ask me to have a group of students come to my office. I will feed them juice and biscuits and have an opportunity to really congratulate them and to say well done for a really fantastic term or half term. And students come for a whole range of different reasons. Sometimes it's because they've got the most commendations in the year. Sometimes it's because they're the students that have made the most progress, perhaps from having a number of concerns, and they've turned those into a number of meeting expectations or commendations. It can be for a whole range of reasons, and I love the opportunity to thank and congratulate those young people. We would just ask you to support us in supporting your children to live up to those expectations. Help us by setting clear guidelines, sharing with them our behaviour contract so that your children understand what's expected of them in school, and that they know that you support us in that, that we are all together in that. And in the rare occasions where we might have to use sanctions, we would just ask that you would support us in those sanctions. They might be things like a child having a detention, and we would only do that um, as a way to help a child understand and recognise that they've made a mistake, to recognise that there are consequences to those mistakes for themselves and for others, and to help work with them to say, well, let's draw a line under that, let's learn from it, and let's move on. And we would ask you to support us in doing that. A word about mobile phones. Mobile phones are not banned at Notre Dame High School, neither are they required. So I want to say that straight away. It is not a requirement that a child has a mobile phone. They don't need one to access their education at Notre Dame. But we know that a lot of students, a lot of young people, by the time they move up to secondary, do have a mobile phone. And we know that for good reason. Many of the children are travelling an awful long way, so it helps them to stay safe. It helps you as parents to stay in touch with them, and for them to be able to get in touch with you. And those smartphones often give children access to their school email, to the internet, and to many useful apps, including things such as Show My Homework, that we use in school, and it makes it easier for them to connect with each other and with their education in a positive way. And so for all those reasons, we don't ban mobile phones in school. We do recognise that there are pitfalls to the use of mobile phones and to social media, that students can become addicted to social media, and that things can be said and done through social media that can cause real damage. But we are seeing at this time of lockdown, there's a real positive side to these devices in the way they can help us stay connected with each other and with our education. And so we want, rather than to ban them, we want to work with children to use them well. We have expectations about how phones are used in school, and if students don't live up to those expectations, then we will confiscate the phones from students and will not allow those individuals to use their phones in school until they've shown us that they do know how to use them properly. And we'd ask you to support us in that, as I know that you will. One major bit of advice and tip that we give to all parents is, please, for example, don't allow your children to have their phones with them in their bedrooms at night time. Have a cut-off time when the phones have to come out of their rooms and stay out of their rooms. This is important both because it helps the children to sleep. Mobile phones can really cause problems with sleep, and that can have negative impact on children's mental health. But also, of course, it's good that the use of phones and the use of the technology is open to you, that the children know that they share and keep open to you everything that they're doing on those phones, so that you know and that they know that they are safe. And of course, if they've got them with them in their rooms overnight, then you're not able to do that. So for those reasons, that's a big way you can support us in our work to teach children to make good use of these devices. Other mobile devices are also allowed in school, but again, certainly not required. And I would say it tends to be as students get much older, into year 11 or indeed into sixth form, when some of them begin to have other devices such as tablets or laptops that they might bring into school with them to help with their schoolwork. Again, they're allowed to do that. For that reason, though, we would say don't go for the most expensive, top of the range things. You can get much more cheap, durable machines that do that job. And as I say, I would say that's much later on for your children. It's certainly something you don't need to be thinking or worrying about now. And no child needs to have another mobile device, because we do have equipment and kit in school that allow children to fully access our curriculum. Our network is set up to allow mobile devices, whether that be a smartphone or other device, to easily get onto our network when students are in school. That means they can use our internet connection, which is filtered and which is safe, and it also means that they can easily access all of their files and other systems and accounts that they have in school because they are logged in on our school network. So that's it for this presentation on standards and expectations. Thank you very much.